The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Loneliness does not come from having no people about one, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself, or from holding certain views which others find inadmissible. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. The pendulum of the mind oscillates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong. Every form of addiction is bad, no matter whether the narcotic be alcohol, morphine, or idealism. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. There's no coming to consciousness without pain. No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. In all chaos there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. Mistakes are, after all, the foundations of truth, and if a man does not know what a thing is, it is at least an increase in knowledge if he knows what it is not. As far as we can discern, the sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light of meaning in the darkness of mere being. Whatever is rejected from the self appears in the world as an event. We cannot change anything unless we accept it. Where wisdom reigns, there is no conflict between thinking and feeling. Where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, love is lacking. The one is the shadow of the other. Through pride, we are ever deceiving ourselves, but deep down below the surface of the average conscience, a still, small voice says to us something is out of tune. Shame is a soul-eating emotion. There are as many nights as days, and the one is just as long as the other in the year's course. Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness, and the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. The creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect, but by the play instinct acting from inner necessity. The creative mind plays with the objects it loves. The best political, social, and spiritual work we can do is to withdraw the projection of our shadow onto others. The first half of life is devoted to forming a healthy ego. The second half is going inward and letting go of it. The reason for evil in the world is that people are not able to tell their stories. Wholeness is not achieved by cutting off a portion of one's being, but by integration of the contraries. If there is anything that we wish to change in the child, we should first examine it and see whether it is not something that could better be changed in ourselves. Every human life contains a potential. If that potential is not fulfilled, then that life was wasted. We should not pretend to understand the world only by the intellect. We apprehend it just as much by feeling. Sensation tells us a thing is. Thinking tells us what it is this thing is. Feeling tells us what this thing is to us. We meet ourselves time and again in 1,000 disguises on the path of life. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. It all depends on how we look at things, and not on how things are in themselves. The least of things with a meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without it. Anyone who attempts to do both, to adjust to his group and at the same time pursue his individual goal, becomes neurotic. If the path before you is clear, you're probably on someone else's. The healthy man does not torture others. Generally, it is the tortured who turn into torturers. Find out what a person fears most, and that is where he will develop next. When an inner situation is not made conscious, it appears outside as fate. The bigger the crowd, the more negligible the individual becomes. Midlife is the time to let go of an over-dominant ego and to contemplate the deeper significance of human existence. Without this playing with fantasy, no creative work has ever yet come to birth. The debt we owe to the play of the imagination is incalculable. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. The true leader is always led. Nobody, as long as he moves among the chaotic currents of life, is without trouble. Life really does begin at 40. Up until then, you are just doing research. People don't have ideas. Ideas have people. We are born at a given moment, in a given place, and like vintage years of wine, we have the qualities of the year and of the season in which we are born. Faith, hope, love, and insight are the highest achievements of human effort. They are found given by experience.